Hello everybody and welcome to a video that was actually requested by one of you guys, a video about the daily tribute rewards. So, just in case you don't know, the daily tribute has 4 weapons and 4 mods that you can choose at certain milestones. You can choose a weapon at day 100, 300, 500 and 700, and you can choose a mod at days 200, 400, 600 and 900. Now the request for the video was to specifically give you my honest opinion and thoughts about all of these items so you know which order you should pick these in. So let us do just that. Starting off with the mod, so we have Primed Sure-Footed, Primed Vigor, Primed Fury and Primed Tread. The order in which I would personally pick these up would be Primed Tread number 1, Primed Sure-Footed number 2, Primed Vigor number 3, and finally Primed Fury number 4. My reasoning for this is that Primed Fury is just not quite as good anymore. It used to be back when Berserker was crit specific, but ever since they changed Berserker to Berserker Fury, which activates on kill, Primed Fury isn't all that useful anymore. So I would definitely pick it last. Primed Vigor is a little bit more useful, you can still use it on some frames, but it's still not as great as it once was because we simply have so many defensive mods that are better than Primed Vigor. Which moves us on to Primed Sure-Footed. The reason why this one is so good is because not only does it make you resist all knockdowns, it also resists staggers and self-staggers, so if you're using explosive weapons, you cannot stagger yourself with your own explosions. It's very expensive though, especially for an Exilus mod, so in order to fit this in, you're gonna have to invest quite a bit into the frame you're trying to squeeze it onto. And that leaves us with Primed Tread, and the reason why I would pick this one as number 1 is because I thoroughly believe that you're simply gonna get the most use out of it. It gives you a good amount of fire rate and a ton of punch through. It's also worth mentioning that you cannot pick up Primed Sure-Footed on day 200, it only becomes available from days 400 and up. Next on the menu we have the weapons, and let's go through these from the least useful to the most useful, starting off with the Azima. This is a bullet hose secondary that does primarily slash damage and it has okay crit and status. The Azima's unique mechanic allows you to fire out the rest of your magazine, which becomes a turret that fires in 4 directions and slowly spins around until the magazine is depleted. The damage on this is actually not too bad, it's not amazing by any means, but it's not bad. The main issue with this weapon is how ammo hungry it is. The primary fire consumes a lot of ammo on its own and you will need some form of ammo mutation to keep it going. But the secondary fire, the unique mechanic, is unsustainable unless you're running like dispensary on every frame or maybe you're willing to use ammo pizzas. Because if you want the secondary fire, the magazine turret to actually do something, you want to fire it out with a full magazine, which eats up 75 rounds. So all in all, a pretty cool weapon that doesn't do terrible damage, but the ammo consumption is simply way too high. In at number 2, we have the Zenith, which is a primary rifle where the primary fire does primarily slash with low crit and high status and is full auto, and the secondary fire is semi-automatic, dealing primarily puncture, and it has high crit and low status. The unique mechanic on the Zenith is actually quite cool. You fire out like a beacon that will hang out in the air and it will effectively give you wall hack. It will mark enemies' weak points even through walls, and at the same time the weapon switches into its semi-automatic mode and it gains infinite punch through. This is actually a very solid rifle that's quite a bit of fun to use in its full auto mode. The semi-auto mode is a bit meh. It's just not as good as the full auto mode, and also the wall hack effect only happens around the beacon that you fire out with your secondary fire, so the range on it is quite limited, pretty much defeating the point of having infinite punch through. You fire it out and then you can fire through walls in like 1 room. That's it. In at number 3 we have the Sigma and Octantes, and this is actually the best tribute weapon that you can get. However, you will have to pick it up second because it only becomes available from day 300 and up, so you can't pick it first. And this is a sword and shield that does primarily slash with good crit and more than enough status. It's basically just a really good melee weapon that also happens to have a unique mechanic where if you do an air attack instead of doing a regular air attack, you will throw the shield, which does an okay amount of damage. It's not as unique as it once was. We have plenty of melee weapons and different mechanics that allow us to fire projectiles from melee weapons during air attacks, but it's still a very solid weapon and you should definitely pick it up as soon as you can. And that leaves us with the Zenith Star, the weapon that I would personally pick up first on day 100. This is a heavy blade, so it's got that going for it, which is nice. That does primarily heat damage, it has mediocre crit, but it does have really good status. The coolest and also best thing about the Zenith Star is that whenever you do a heavy attack, the central disc will fly out and become a stationary turret that will damage everything around it, and the weapon will actually become much lighter and will start doing primarily slash damage. This is very cool, especially since the duration on the disc is scaled by your combo, so the higher combo you have, when you do a heavy attack, the longer it's going to last. So if you do some heavy attack efficiency or some combo generation shenanigans and that kind of stuff, it's very easy to have the disc out all the time with maximum duration without too many issues. So even though I don't think it's as good as the Sigma and Octantes, it is still very good, so I would pick it up first. And that is pretty much it for the video. However, this is just my opinion. This is how I would do it if I were to go through the tribute rewards again. So if you feel like the order should be different, feel free to let people know in the comment section down below. And as always, guys, I thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.